We are Black Fork. We are Wisconsin.
Pitch number 13 to Jesus Aguilar. And there's a fly ball. Deep right center field. And Jesus Aguilar has walked it off. Wow. Unbelievable. That could be the at-bat of the year. 13 pitches. And then Aguilar sends one out of here to win it. Another big crowd filing into Miller Park as the Milwaukee Brewers and the Miami Marlins wrap up this 4-game series. Brewers going for the sweep and looking to extend their winning streak to 6 games. Good afternoon from inside Miller Park. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Matt LePay. Sophia Minard is our reporter this afternoon. Well, Rock, we saw last year Jesus Aguilar had a lot of big hits, but last night his first walk-off and a long at-bat took a little over 7 minutes. If you're timing it, it was worth it. A great AB.
Yeah, he's just a terrific hitter. I mean, a guy that packs a lot of punch in that bat, but shows a lot of patience. Not only was it a 13-pitch at-bat, but he started out that count 0-2. He got behind very quickly, but what you like about Aguilar, his patience. He's very patient at the plate. He's not going to chase a whole lot, and when he has 2 strikes on him, unlike a lot of power hitters, particularly guys that come off the bench, he's going to shorten up. All about making contact in that at bat. That was probably the toughest one right there. That slider about a foot off the plate, able to get a piece of it, keeping himself alive. And when you can find a guy like Jesus Aguilar, I mean, I'm talking any team that can come off the bench and provide some punch and a good at bat as a pinch hitter. Outstanding work. It looked like he missed a good pitch there, but pitch number 13, very similar location. You can see the nice easy swing. Not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's so strong he doesn't have to. And the Brewers end that game happy. Jesus Aguilar with a nice walk-off home run. Just what the Brewers needed to keep this winning streak alive.
Yeah, which is at a season best 5 games so far this season. It's been an outstanding homestand, an early bump, but since then 5 straight have gone the Brewers' way. We'll take you back to some of the highlights of the week that was. Get you ready for the series finale with the Marlins. Abraham, voted best, rated best. Hupy and Abraham, tell them you mean business. By Miller Lite, great taste and only 96 calories. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. To say the least, it's been quite the homestand for the Milwaukee Brewers after dropping the opener of the stand on Monday. It's been nothing but winning for the Brewers. Let's take a look at how the Brew Crew now has a season-high 5-game winning streak. The 1-0 in the air, right field. Santana is there, and the Brewers have a shutout. Watt pitching tonight. And there's a fly ball and back into right field. It is gone! Eric Thames one more time. And the payoff. And that is strike 3 called, and the Brewers win it. Back-to-back shutouts for the Brew Crew. And there's a drive. Left center field. It is gone! A 3-run blast for Ryan Braun. He hammers one deep to left field. Goodbye. 2-run blast. Ryan Braun. Now Travis Shaw, and he sends one deep into center field, and it is back-to-back again. Pitch number 13, and there's a fly ball deep right center field, and Jesus Aguilar has walked it off. Quite the moment for Jesus Aguilar. An epic at-bat, a big-time conclusion for the Brew Crew. Now today, it'll be Junior Guerra on the mound, looking to make it a 6-game winning streak. First pitch coming up. Thames bobblehead day here this afternoon at the Yard as the Brewers and Marlins get set to wrap up this 4-game series and conclude the homestand as well. Junior Guerra with 2 good starts already on his resume this season, looking to keep that going. And we will keep the roof closed here at Miller Park. Nice and comfortable inside. We're going to get over 50 degrees here in Milwaukee today. It's a little better than last Sunday, to say the least. So Brewers now with a 5-game winning streak and looking to make it 6, and thus a 6-1 homestand if things go the right way after losing the opener on Monday of the stand to Cincinnati. Here's the Marlins batting order presented by Potawatomi. Derek Dietrich, JT Realmuto, Starlin Castro at the top, Bohr, Anderson, and Shuck in the middle. Lewis Brinson, Yadiel Rivera, Caleb Smith, Rounding out the Miami batting order against Junior Guerra, and we are ready to roll here in Milwaukee. And the first pitch fouled out of play, and we are underway.
Yeah, Junior very good his last time out against the Reds. 5 2/3, 1 hit, no runs. I mean, he was outstanding. You could see the earned run average .82. He's pitched into the 6th inning in each of his first 2 starts.
That last outing was interesting, known for the splitter. But the slider was a good weapon for him the other night. 2 strikes and nothing here as Guerra gets things started against Derek Dietrich. A thriller last night here at the ballpark. And a strikeout to begin this day for Junior Guerra.
And that fastball up in the zone. We saw a lot of that his last time. Now let's check out the Brewers defense. Defense has been terrific on this homestand. You got Braun, Kane, and Yelich in the outfield. Sean Sogard, Perez, Aguilar from 3rd to 1st with lefty on the mound for the Marlins, and Jacob Nottingham, who caught Guerra his last time out and did a pretty good job. He's back there again today.
Caught him in Colorado Springs. Start there, so helping some familiarity that Nottingham has. There's JT Real Muto back in the lineup. Started the first 2 games for the Marlins. Not in the lineup last night. This is his first full week back. Began the season on the disabled list, but got back in the fold Wednesday when the Marlins' first stop on the trip had them against the Yankees in New York. A ball, a strike to JT Real Muto. We are just getting underway here, the final game of the series. And hit by a pitch is Real Muto, and he'll take the base. One out, one on here in the first inning. Catcher's interference is what it's going to be there.
I was going to say he swung the bat.
Yep.
Nottingham reaching out. You can see him hit the fingers of the catcher's mitt. That's an error on Nottingham. Just when we started talking about errorless baseball, the first for the Brewers here in the beginning of this game.
And the first error of the series on the catcher's interference is Starlin Castro will settle in. Brewers coming from behind last night. The Marlins scored the first 4 runs of the game. It was Brinson having himself a good series with the bat. But the Brewers just chipped away, drew even in the 8th inning. And then Jesus Aguilar with that 13 pitch at bat to Junichi Tazawa over the right center field wall. 3rd walk-off win already for the Brewers. We're not even a month into the season.
Yeah, 3 different guys. Braun, Arcia, now Aguilar. But the amazing thing, I mean, it's an amazing thing to have 13 pitches in a bat, but then the home run. But he started the at-bat 0-2.
Yeah.
That's, that's amazing in itself.
He fouled away some 7 pitches. Just hung in there, just getting a piece on a couple of offerings from Tazawa. 2-strike pitch to Castro. Wafted out into right field. Christian Yelich back out there this afternoon, and that's the 2nd out of the inning.
Well, let's check out our Pizza Ranch for the win. First of all, we got to talk about the 5 straight wins. The Brewers have been very good on this homestand, outscoring their opponents 30-8. The bullpen, terrific. The last run that they allowed was the 7th inning on Monday. That was against the Reds. And before that, catcher's interference. The last error that they committed was in the 7th inning on Wednesday against Cincinnati. So we talk about streaks. That one streak is over, unfortunately, the error streak.
They got away with it. They had 3 errors in the game against the Reds and 1 anyway. Here's Justin Bour, the cleanup hitter. Good power bat for the Marlins. The Brewers have kept him in check. A couple of singles for him. He's been relatively quiet. Big year last year for the Marlins. Participated in the home run derby in Marlins Park. Matched him up with Aaron Judge Very tough draw for a guy in his home yard. Two strikes and nothing to Bohr. Marlins come into the game with a 5-15 record. Brewers now 13-9, separated by just 9 percentage points from first place St. Louis. Pirates, after a hot start, have scuffled a bit here in recent days. Two-strike pitch to Bohr, and that is ripped down the line, and that's headed to the corner. Digging it out of there is Christian Yelich. Has taken the turn. Is Real Muto coming home. Perez the throw to the plate, and safe at home is Real Muto. Run scoring double from Justin Bohr to open up the scoring.
Man, he can't keep that guy down very long. Fastball middle in, rips it down the line. Yeah, Real Muto runs really well for a catcher. Able to score from first base. Big throwing arm in on Perez, makes it close. We could see the hand in there from Real Muto. Good slide. And once again, the Marlins take a lead. Marlins actually led yesterday 4-0. Brewers able to come back.
So like last night, the Marlins score in the first inning, and here is Brian Anderson, the third baseman, with Bohr the runner at second. The Marlins take advantage of the catcher's interference. You see Anderson's totals. He's been good with the plate discipline as well. He has drawn 12 walks, so his on-base percentage a very healthy .391.
Junior trying to establish that split-fingered fastball. It was, as you mentioned, the breaking ball more than the splitter his last time out that he had so much success with. Good to have options out there. It used to be just fastball split for Junior. Now he's got a couple other pitches he can go to.
2-0 pitch to Brian Anderson. This with a fastball to Guerra. From here, the Marlins head to L.A. to take on the Dodgers. The Brewers are off tomorrow. They'll open a series with the Royals in Kansas City on Tuesday night. 2-game series with Kansas City, and then 4 with the Cubs. And then from there, it's on to Cincinnati to play 3 against the Reds. And the first 3-city trip coming up here for the Brew Crew. 3-1 to Anderson. A couple of hits last night, including a double, drove in a run. The 3-1 pitch on the way, and that's sharply hit. That's a base hit. Bohr will be held at third. And the Marlins extend this first inning. Runners now at the corners with 2 outs.
Yeah, Brewers had the right guy at second base. Bohr not able to score. Doesn't run all that well, but Junior Guerra with a fastball getting a little too much of the plate. He fell behind quickly to Anderson, and that one center cut at 94, and Brian Anderson hammers it into left field. Location issues early on for Junior.
So a strikeout, catcher's interference, a fly ball to right, and then a run scoring double from Justin Bohr, and a single from Brian Anderson. Here is J.B. Shuck in the lineup again today, playing right field. He was out there on Friday night for the Marlins. Attacks the first pitch and pops this one up. Jacob Nottingham with room, and he puts it away, and that'll do it for Miami. Here in the top half of the first, they pick up the run. Now Lorenzo Cain and the Brewers coming up. Big crowd at the ballpark. Let's check out the Brewers batting order presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Lorenzo Cain and Christian Yelich once again at the top of the order, along with Ryan Braun. Travis Shaw hits cleanup. Jesus Aguilar with the big shot last night. He hits fifth. Hernan Perez, Eric Sogard, Jacob Nottingham, and Junior Guerra round out the Brewers batting order. Yesterday's starter for the Miami Marlins, Caleb Smith.
Yeah, second left-hander that the Marlins are throwing at the Brewers. You can see his numbers: fifth start, 689 the earned run average. First start ever against the Brewers. Last time out, a loss against the Yankees, lasted only 2 1/3 innings, gave up 5 runs.
Lorenzo Cain leading things off. It's the 26-year-old Caleb Smith. Cain and Yelich 1-2 in the order. It's been a very good combination here for Milwaukee in these last several days. Although they were both rather quiet last night. Cain had a hit in 4 trips. As you can see, the numbers have been very good, and he's had a very good series. Likewise for Yelich. Cain sends one out of play.
And Brewers offense has really picked it up on this homestand, and everybody contributing. It's not just the guys at the top of the order, the guys at the bottom of the order are keeping the line moving, coming up with big hits.
Cain with a fly ball out to center field. That's Lewis Brinson. And that's out number 1.
Well, the defense for the Fish here today. You got Dietrich, Brinson, and Shuck in the outfield. Anderson, Rivera, Yadiel Rivera, the former Brewer at shortstop. Starlin Castro, Justin Bour on the right side, and JT Realmuto behind home plate.
There's Yadiel Rivera. Very strong arm, very good defensive player. Here's Christian Yelich. He was hitless last night, but those 2 hits, that triple, that triggered a big inning for the Brewers on Friday night. And the former Marlin, it's brushed back. Coming over for Lewis Brinson in that January trade. Isan Diaz, Monte Harrison, Jordan Yamamoto. One pitch to Yelich.
And no coincidence, I think, that the Brewers offense has started to turn it on a little bit with the return of Yelich at the top of the order. They missed him.
2 guys who get on base very frequently, Cain and Yelich. Of course, Yelich was on the 10-day DL. Was activated on Monday and back in the lineup a day later. He was off to a terrific start through his first half dozen games. You remember that game-tying home run against St. Louis. And Braun followed with the walk-off. That is a called third strike to Yelich. 2 up, 2 down in the first. And here is Ryan Braun. He is starting to get things going at the plate. He's hit some milestone numbers rocking this homestand, and those are the kind of numbers you like to see out of a left fielder.
Yeah, 1,000 RBIs. He reached a milestone with doubles, and you know, he got off to a slow start, but you can tell just by the way he's swinging the bat, even a lot of his outs, just missing a couple of home runs on this homestand. And when Ryan Braun hits, the Brewers usually win. That's always been the case.
He is starting to hit. 1 for 3 last night. That hit being a double. In the 700 club now with extra base hits in his career.
See Smith, not a hard thrower. That 2-seamer at 93. He can get it up there, you know, 94 at times. Slider and a changeup. He's got a good changeup. He's going to throw it to right-handed hitters.
1-1 pitch to Braun. That's slapped over to Brian Anderson. And Caleb Smith has a 3 up, 3 down inning to begin his Sunday afternoon. We move to the second. Marlins lead 1-0.
0-0 lead, and plenty of conversation this morning with manager Craig Counsell about Jesus Aguilar's incredible 13-pitch at bat yesterday that led to the walk-off home run. And Counsell said what really stands out when you go back and watch it is just that the pitcher made such good pitches against him, and the work that Aguilar did just to get a bat on, fouling off 7 or 8 straight pitches there. He was down to an 0-2 count, worked a full count there, and then of course finished it off with that massive home run. And he said really, when the further that you got into the at-bat, he said you expected Aguilar to put the ball in play, and you saw he was in such battle mode. He said that when he put the ball over the fence over 400 feet, he said that was kind of the next shock, but it tells you just how strong of a man Jesus Aguilar was, that he was able to battle for that long and still hit the ball that far. So he said it's one of those at-bats where the highlights don't even do it justice. You really need to watch it start to finish to see just how long of a battle it was between the two of them and how that moment really built up.
Yeah, finally that nice easy swing, and it was a no doubt about it home run. Lewis Brinson hit by a pitch here to begin the second inning, but the strength of Aguilar there is impressive.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that he's kind of a rarity in baseball, a guy that can use coming off the bench. I mean, he was put in, you know, for defense. It wasn't a pinch hit appearance, but essentially it really was. It was his first at bat, and got to 0-2 and was just in protect mode, shortening up his swing, and certainly strong enough to be able to hit a big fly to the opposite field just when he's just trying to make contact.
So just a terrific at bat. Great inning for the Brewers. Walk off number 3, not even 1 month into the season. One former Brewer is on, another former Brewer at the plate, Yadiel Rivera. Defense has not been a question. It's just a matter of can he hit enough at this level.
And great range. He's got good soft hands, terrific throwing arm. He made a throw to home plate last night to cut down the potential go-ahead run in the 8th inning from short left field. But you're right. I mean, it's going to come down to the bat for Rivera.
25 years old, a 9th round pick by the Brewers back in 2010. Keeping an eye on Brinson over there is Junior Guerra. Brinson does have 1 stolen base.
First time Brinson's actually been on the bases in this series. He's either hit home runs or essentially struck out, right? Grounded out once.
First 3 homers as a Marlin coming for Brinson this weekend. And Brinson is running. And they'll avoid the double play. A ground ball to Eric Sogard. There's out number 1. Brinson had a 4-hit game in the opening series of the season for Miami, then went through a prolonged slump. Don Mattingly gave him a couple days off when they were in New York to play the Yankees, made some adjustments, and has shown the power here a little bit in this series. 2 homers on Thursday and the 3-run shot last night. Here's Caleb Smith.
The hitting coach for the Marlins, Mike Pagliarulo, who was a contemporary teammate of Mattingly over at the Yankees back in the day, and worked very hard with Brinson over the course of those 2 games in Chicago, and certainly with the 3 home runs making strides.
Very young team. Marlins, of course, making all those moves in the offseason. And Smith trying to bunt, pops it up, and playing it on a hop is Travis Shaw for out number 2. As Brinson will move to 3rd.
Hey, on Sunday, May 6th, the first 20,000 fans at the Brewers matchup against the Pirates will take home a lightweight hoodie courtesy of Boston Store. Secure your seats at brewers.com. Would have come in handy in New York.
Yeah, would have. A little chill in the air up there while the snow was pounded down here last Sunday. But some signs of spring. Saw some people at a driving range this morning. They were driving it in the snow, but the They were clean where it needed to be clean.
Yeah, it's going to be, you know, when the team leaves for the road trip, it's going to, what, touch 60.
It's getting here.
Yeah.
Finally, a little spring weather. Here's Derek Dietrich. Lewis Brinson, a runner at third. Two good starts for Guerra to begin his season. After being called up. Good in St. Louis. Very good against Cincinnati. Marlins with a run in the first and a little threat going in the second. Good block by Nottingham, and that's something we saw from Jacob. He was behind the plate a few days ago. Has an ability. That's how you get to this level, but it looks like he's been there before.
Yeah, you don't get here unless you can block the baseball. I mean, this is kind of mandatory. I mean, that's something you have to be able to do. He does it well. We saw his catching mentor, Charlie Green, at the ballpark yesterday on his way up to Appleton to work with the catchers up in A-ball.
There's a bouncer to Aguilar, and that will end the inning for Miami. They strand a runner at third. Bottom of the second inning. Travis Shaw will lead off. 1-0 Marlins. Here at Miller Park. Travis Shaw and the Brew Crew taking on the Marlins for the fourth time today, presented by AARP. Good series for Travis, as you can see, 5 for 8. Couple of long balls, scored 5 runs, taken some walks along the way as well. He has been on base throughout the course of this series.
One goes hand in hand, right? Swinging at strikes, taking walks, and getting good pitches to hit. Not swinging out of the strike zone.
Couple of walks last night, in fact, for Shaw, as Caleb Smith, his second inning of work, set him down in order. In the first inning, elevates a fastball there and quickly ahead in the count. 4 homers on the year for Shaw. He's driven in 10. And a breaking ball gets Shaw for out number 1, second strikeout. Already today for Caleb Smith.
Yeah, there's that breaking pitch that is an effective one against lefties that he's very inconsistent with. Has a tendency to hang that pitch.
And here is Jesus Aguilar. He had the walk-off homer last night. And you see those numbers when he starts, and this is the 6th time this year he has been in the lineup. Through the first 5, he already has had 3 3-hit games.
It is amazing what he can do. We've been talking about it now for a while, but you know, the results are there. It's not just he puts good at bats together. He's productive. He gets the job done. Whether you start him, you know, 2 or 3 days in a row, or he sits out and just appears as a pinch hitter, always seems to be able to help you.
Walk off his first, but make no mistake, he hit some big bombs last year. 16 home runs, and there were game changers among those home runs. Swing and a foul tip into the mid of Real Muto. 2 up, 2 down as Smith off to an impressive start for Miami.
Already 3 strikeouts. Well, he came into this game 15 2/3. Had 22 strikeouts. We can strike out some batters. That pitch outer half, 94. That's pretty much topped out for Smith.
Could have outings where he really has to labor. Last start against the Yankees, 2 1/3, needed 84 pitches. Facing Hernan Perez.
In a generous strike zone so far today. Bruce Dreckman calling some pitches a little bit off the edges. Nothing wrong with that.
Change up right there, and it's 2 strikes and nothing now to Perez. Smith was a 14th round draft pick out of Sam Houston State. Yankees selection. Perez into left field. That's Derek Dietrich. It's another 1, 2, 3 innings. Smith retiring the first 6 Brewers. We are through 2. Marlins a 1-0 lead.
The first no-hitter of the 2018 season belongs to A's left-hander Sean Manaea. Last night defeated the Red Sox, and that's an impressive fact no matter how you do it, especially in a no-hitter. The Red Sox have come in having won 17 of their last 19, 8 in a row. Manaea becomes the first Oakland A pitcher to throw a no-hitter since Dallas Braden did it in 2010. He did it on 108 pitches, 10 strikeouts, and that final out you saw there from Hanley Ramirez, that was the last out and the hardest hit ball of the game at 106 miles per hour. So congratulations to Sean Manaea. Terrific performance last night at Oakland Coliseum.
All right, Sophia, thank you very much. That guy behind the plate looked kind of familiar too, Rock.
Yeah, Jonathan Lucroy in the no fraternity. I texted Jonathan today. He was excited last night. It's always a big deal. You get to catch a no-hitter.
You've done that.
Yeah. You know, Manaea, he only needed 108 pitches. I mean, that's kind of unheard of these days.
Yeah, right. 75 strikes. He buzzed through that game. It took all of 2 hours, 16 minutes to play that game. And you do it. And anytime you do it, it's impressive. But they did it against the hottest team in baseball, the Red Sox.
They can hit a little. It just goes to show you, you run into a hot pitcher. It doesn't matter who you are or what kind of offense you have, and they could shut you down.
Sean Manaea did just that last night for the Oakland A's. JT Realmuto leading off here in the third for Miami. Realmuto, Castro, and Justin Bour.
Anybody that gets to this level has the chance, or they have the stuff to do that. Whether they do it or not, who knows?
The bouncer slowly hit, and no play for Travis Shaw. Infield single for Realmuto to begin the third inning for Miami.
Well, not a whole lot you can do about this. A swinging bunt. You can see Travis Shaw. He was playing way behind the bag at third. Do or die, bare hand. Not even sure it would have mattered. That's a base hit.
Hit number 3 for the Marlins, and here is Starlin Castro. Castro with some pretty good numbers in his career against the Brewers, just a shade below 300. It's those years with the Chicago Cubs. Castro was a Yankee last year, had a solid year in New York.
He's a hitter, no doubt about that. There are times when he loses focus defensively. We've seen that a couple of times in this series.
Yeah, Marlins have had a couple of breakdowns defensively. He was able to take advantage. Castro did have a 3-hit night last night. Brewers scored a run in the 8th inning on what was originally ruled an error, a fly ball that was a misplay by the left fielder Derek Dietrich, but that was since changed to a hit. So Eric Sogard gets a hit and an RBI. That pulled the Brewers even in the bottom of the 8th inning and set things up for Aguilar in the 9th. 2-strike pitch to Castro.
Yeah, Dietrich, I guess, never got a glove on it.
Right.
Generous ruling still.
It was one where Dietrich, in talking to reporters, he owned it. It's a play you got to make.
Just missed it. Never really felt all that comfortable under it. That's maybe why they decided to give him a hit.
Next thing that'll get Sogard going. A ball, 2 strikes to Castro, and there's a strikeout. First out of the inning here in the third.
See that pitch off the outside corner at 86 miles an hour, the split-fingered fastball, and sometimes that pitch, unless you see it in slow motion, reacts a lot like a slider at times, like that one did.
Yeah, it really did. I thought it was at first, but yeah, it was a good offering there from Guerra to take care of Castro. And here's Justin Bour. His RBI double beginning the scoring here today. That came in the first inning. Realmuto, who he brought around. Bour, one of the holdovers with all of the offseason activity by Miami and the new management team, ownership group. JT Realmuto, who's on first, one of the others, but a much different looking team. Marlins did get a fair amount of criticism, I guess, especially in South Florida. But it's a valid point. Even when they had Ozuna, and Stanton, and Yelich, they weren't winning enough. They weren't drawing.
Right.
So they just decided to hit the reset button,
save some money, go with some prospects, save a ton of money at that. It's not the first time the fans in Miami have had to, deal with that, fire sales.
Yeah, after the World Championship seasons.
Happens a lot. 3 or 4 times, including last offseason.
And the fact is, there's some pretty shining examples of franchises that have been able to take a similar path and make it work, including last year's World Series champions, not to mention the year before. Not always the most popular move. Very rarely is it a move that goes over well, but pretty hard to argue with the results.
Right, especially when you trade away a sensation like Giancarlo Stanton. That's a guy that can put people in the seats.
2 balls, 1 strike to Justin Bour. And the challenge becomes for guys like Bour and Real Muto, because you know they're not happy. But you just have to be a pro and play through it. Develop the young guys. They've had some injuries. A couple of guys who are in rehab assignments right now, including pitcher Dan Straley. There's a bouncing ball. Aguilar, Sogard 1, Gord 2. Well executed. 3-6-1 on the double play. He can hit it. He can pick it too. Good work by Aguilar to start the inning-ending double play. We move to the bottom of the 3rd. Marlins the early lead. Man in sports, you get opinion that cuts through the hype. That Speak for Yourself with Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock, weekdays at 4 p.m. Central, only on FS1.
Colin Cowherd, now that's a guy that knows college football a little bit.
Knows a lot. Yep, he does. Yep, he'll break it all down for you. Sure, he'll be breaking down the draft, you know, coming up.
We did a little bit of that yesterday, didn't we?
We did. And, you know, we will have more in-depth analysis as we talked about last night. We'll break it all down after the draft.
Influenced any of the GMs in the NFL?
No. I'll just go out on a limb. Here's Eric Sogard. The lineup again today as Orlando Arcia works his way back, and it's encouraging. And with the ankle injury to Arcia, they'll be back here fairly soon. In the meantime, Sogard will handle the spot.
Yeah, he looked good running around today. I mean, he was doing some, you know, agility drills and running the bases, working on rundowns. Ed Cedar was out there with him. Manny Pena was running. So, yeah, I think Brewers is pretty close to getting back to full strength, at least the position players.
It was pretty scary when Arcia hit that bag. Took a big turn at first and then hit it hard coming back, and you know, just brought back, certainly for him, the memory of the broken ankle he suffered 6 years ago. Looks like he's going to be okay. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Sogard. Good watching him run. He had a smile on his face like he usually does. Sogard a swing and a miss. And Caleb Smith looking impressive already. His 4th strikeout as he's retired the first 7. All the injuries in Arcia specifically. Let's check in with Sophia.
Yeah, man, Rock, as you guys said, it was a really good test for Orlando Arcia out on the field, running and testing out that right ankle. And so Craig Counsell said that if he can pass that test and get through it relatively pain-free, they're hopeful that with the off day tomorrow, he should be ready to rejoin the team Tuesday in Kansas City. And similar report for Manny Pena as well. He passed a big test on Friday, getting back out and running on the bases. He was out on the field before the game today as well. So all signs point to him being possibly available the earliest day Tuesday when he could be reinstated from the disabled list.
Yeah, very encouraging signs right there. And Stephen Vogt, that shoulder working his way back.
Yeah, once he's ready to play, it's going to take him a little bit longer than these other guys because he essentially has to start from scratch.
And that was around what, the middle of March with Vogt when the shoulder started acting up. There's Jacob Nottingham. There's a couple of walks, looking for his first big league hit. And Chad Fairchild, the first base umpire, says Nottingham offered, and back-to-back strikeouts, now 5 of them early on for Caleb Smith.
Yeah, that one off the outside corner, that two-seam fastball. Jacob just couldn't hold up on it. He's got a good slider going. That's always the key pitch for him. If he's able to throw that, you know, down in the strike zone, get swings and misses with that breaking ball, then that sets up his fastball even better.
There's Junior Guerra. Smith was drafted by the Yankees. Brewers actually took him in the Rule 5 draft a couple years ago, and then promptly moved into the Cubs. Didn't make the team there, so he was sent back to the Yankees and came over along with former Brewers prospect Garrett Cooper. From the Yankees to the Marlins, and Caleb Smith has gone through the order in most impressive fashion. 6 strikeouts. He has given up nothing. It's still 1-0 Miami. On Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. By Ascension, coming together to give healthcare a better name. We are Ascension. And by Pepsi, this is the Pepsi for your crew.
Junior Guerra back on the mound, ready to work. The Marlins with a 1-0 lead here in the 4th. Our UW Whitewater minor league scouting report, Brandon Woodruff made his 3rd start of the season in AAA with Colorado Springs. A great night for him, 5 innings, just 1 run on 3 hits, 7 strikeouts, and a walk. You see his numbers so far this season in AAA, a 2-0 record, 1.65 earned run average, 3 earned runs on the season, and 14 strikeouts. And Craig Counsell said certainly what the guys are doing in the minor league system has gotten a lot of attention. He said, you know, we spoke about that depth and particularly with the pitching at both the AA and the AAA level. He says a lot of them have gotten off to individual good starts, and that's sort of carried over to some team success. So Counsell had some good words for the minor league system today.
Yeah, we certainly had an idea of what Woodruff can do at this level. Already had a taste of that.
Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back this year at some point.
Brian Anderson leading off here for Miami.
He's that breaking ball that was such a good pitch for him against the Reds. Do a lot of them.
Do what I can.
A ball is strike to the Miami third baseman. He singled to left field in the first inning. Marlins with 3 hits through the first 3 off Junior Guerra. And the 1-2. There you go. Strikeout number 3 for Junior Guerra. That's how his 4th inning begins.
Yeah, getting better as the game goes on. That split-fingered fastball, a good one. Yeah, he worked on that in the offseason, and it's come back to where it was a couple of years ago. Over the plate, getting good late dip on it as it gets to the hitting zone. But the important part about that pitch, it has to be over the plate. It can be down out of the zone. It should be, but it can't be inside or outside. Guys probably won't swing at it.
Here's J.B. Shuck. Popped out to Jacob Nottingham to in the first inning. Starting to see that Junior Guerra that the Brewers saw a couple of years ago. A 9-3 year for Guerra. The first acquisition made by general manager David Stearns. 2.81 ERA. It was a struggle last year, but he was injured on opening day. There's a ground ball that'll be snapped up by Hernan Perez for out number 2. And now Lewis Brinson. Those numbers coming in this series with the long balls. Two of them Thursday and 1 last night. Thing you notice when you see him up close, he has a great presence about him. Brinson, a quiet confidence, I think, be a way to describe it too. When he was even called up last year, remember a conversation he had with Jerry Augustine, and he just instead of being wide-eyed about everything, he says, let's go play. And then he ends up, up and down. It wasn't a ton of games with the Brewers last year, but showed a little bit of that power.
Well, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe that you belong here. You can have all the confidence in the world, but until you have some success, you're not really sure. I guess it's one of those things, what comes first, right? Chicken or egg?
Mm-hmm. Right.
You got to have the big confidence, but how do you get that? I mean, really, in your heart until you have success at this level. That's the battle a lot of guys fight. But the Marlins have made a big commitment to him. You can see he's really struggled in the beginning part of the season until he got here. But they keep throwing him out there.
Moved him around in the batting order. He was near the top, and then they had him near the bottom of the order. He was hitting 8th. Moved him up to 7th on Friday night. And that's where he's hitting here tonight. Trying to find a spot where he's most comfortable. Besides those 3 home runs, this has been a ball club that has had to grind it to get runs across. It's not a team with a ton of power. Bohr has it. Brinson's been flashing it.
Yeah, big inning for the Marlins, except for Brinson has been, 3-4 singles in an inning. That's the way they have to score. They don't have a lot of pop. Slugging percentage way down.
Full count to Brinson. They were looking for a 1-2-3 inning. And this tough play. Guerra pouncing off the mound, and it's in time for out number 3. Nice play by Guerra, and he gets his first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game. Need to field your position, and Junior Guerra does just that to get the young Marlins center fielder. Bottom of the 4th we go, with Miami leading 1-0. Nothing lead. Caleb Smith, very impressive for the first tour of the Brewers batting order, giving up nothing and striking out 6. Back up top for Lorenzo Cain.
And second time through. Let's see what the Brewers can do against this guy. First time that Smith has ever faced any of these Brewers.
Brewers in this series are missing right now the best pitcher the Marlins have in their rotation, Harlan Garcia. Terrific in a couple of outings against the Mets and the Yankees. Matter of fact, against the Mets, Garcia worked 6 shutout innings. The young pitcher, the Marlins going to the bullpen, made a bid for a combined no-hitter. He gave up 1 hit in his next outing against the Yankees, but as the schedule unfolds, he is not starting against the Brewers here in this 4-game set. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Lorenzo Cain.
Hey, you never know how things work out, but you know the Brewers are looking for their first 4-game sweep in quite some time.
It has been a while,
especially here at home.
As a matter of fact, talking about a decade since they have won a 4-gamer, all of them here at Miller Park, as Cain goes the other way, and there's the first hit of the afternoon for the Brew Crew.
And fastball away. Cain just sticks the bat out there and dumps one down the line and right. Well, maybe the Brewers are going to get a better look at these pitches that Smith's been throwing. The fastball, slider, and changeup. That was a fastball that time, up and away, and Cain just serves it down the right field line. Well, skunk out of the box. First base runner, first hit for Milwaukee today.
Oh, a good start after Smith struck out the side in the 3rd inning. Here's Christian Yelich. Hey, you don't play a ton of 4-game series, but you have to go back to August of 2008 against the Nats.
It's something.
That's and they did they swept the Phillies 3 years ago. It was in Philadelphia. late June, early July. But yeah, it's rare air. Brewers had that opportunity here today.
It's just so difficult to sweep, any team, even in a 3-game series. I mean, these teams, you run into a hot pitcher. We've been talking about that, but to sweep a 4-game series, that's something else. They got some work to do, but they're in position to do it.
2 convincing wins, and then the come from behind thriller last night. 2 balls, no strikes to Yelich. Took a called 3rd strike in the 1st inning. You have the guys at the top of your order with an on-base percentage of over 400. It's still April. We get it. This is what the Brewers had in mind when they made the acquisition, signing Kane to the free agent deal, the trade for Yelich. Guys who get on base, who don't strike out a ton. 2-1 pitch to Yelich. That is hit hard into center field. Brinson will look back, and the Brewers take the lead. Christian Yelich with a bolt, and it's 2-1 Milwaukee.
Well, that didn't take long, did it? What do you got on VR here?
That's a good look. You just wish they would loosen up a little bit down there.
What guys doing their days off, right?
Here's Ryan Braun. And a liner caught by Rivera. Dropped it, but he controlled it long enough for the out. One away.
Called him out, yep. Alfonso Marquez hearing it from the Brewer faithful.
Let's see, Rock, did he complete the process of the catch there? I don't know.
I think he did. I mean, he was taking it out of his glove.
This is a football game. That'd be a major controversy right there.
Is that a catch or
That's
not?
right.
Does anybody really know what a catch is in football?
No, I think they've tried to adjust it a little bit. But no.
But if you look in the rule book, that wasn't a catch, because when you catch it, you have to take it out of the glove and have it in your hand cleanly. Yep. But nobody really enforces that.
There's Travis Shaw. That was a few years ago. There was some confusion with the transfer rule going back 4 years, and they clarified it pretty early in the season.
You don't want to complicate too many things in this game. It's an easy game.
Keep it simple.
Don't have to make it too complicated.
I see a lot of that very complicated stuff in the fall.
Yeah.
College and the NFL. 2 balls, 1 strike to Travis Shaw. Shaw strikeout victim in the 2nd inning. Fourth home run allowed this season for Caleb Smith. This is start number 5 for him. 2-2 pitch on the way. That is strike 3 called. Out number 2 here in the 4th. Now Jesus Aguilar. Here's how the game ended last night. The 13th pitch of the at-bat was the game-winning homer for Aguilar. Powerball home run count. The first career walk-off for Aguilar. He's hit some game winners, but this was the first game ender.
Yeah. He earned it. Tazawa's had a very tough series.
Yes, he has. Batted around earlier and gave up the home run last night. A high fly ball off the bat of Aguilar. Brinson puts it away, and that'll do it for the Brewers here in the 4th. But the Kane-Yelich combo back in play. A single from Kane and a 2-run homer from Yelich. 2-1 Brew Crew. On base, 2-run blast gives the Brewers a 2-1 lead. As we move to the top half of the 5th inning, 8, 9, and 1 of the order for Miami. Yadiel Rivera will lead things off. He grounded to short in the 2nd inning. Rivera appeared in 1 game with the Brewers last year. The rest of the year in Colorado Springs. And did struggle at the plate there. He has a couple of hits so far in 2018.
Yeah, you got to hit at this level to be able to, stay in the major leagues and get playing time. I mean, you don't have those quote unquote defensive specialists anymore. The bat plays.
That's what he's trying to prove he can do. Just get a little offense going at the big league level. He made the Brewers opening day roster 2 years ago. Ended up going back and forth between the Brewers and AAA. Had 4 stints with Milwaukee. Appeared in 35 games for the Brewers in that 2016 season. 2-2 pitch. It was part of a triple play the Brewers turned against Miami a couple of years ago. And around the horn, Aaron Hill was with the Brewers the first half of that season. He got it started. And Rivera turned it to first. Here's a fly ball out to Yelich. 1 out. Yeah, Junior Guerra settling down after a couple bumps in the 1st inning. Let's get more on today's starter as we check it again with Sophia.
Well, Guerra's coming off of 5 2/3 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts. And talking to him before this start, he said that he feels that his fastball command has been much better. He's been able to establish inside and outside. That's allowed that split finger to get better as the game goes on. He's been able to go to that as a strikeout pitch. And he also said he feels that his velocity's been back. He's been able to work his slider back in over his last 2 starts. So Guerra feels like he's in a much better place at this point this season than he was when he got off to a rough start last year with that opening day injury.
Yeah, it's all about mechanics for every pitcher, but Junior Guerra, his mechanics were off a little bit. I'm not big into identifying what specifically was going wrong with him. I think Augie broke it down a little bit in the pregame show today. The fact that he's not falling off toward first base as much, staying on top, driving more toward home plate, and that's helping all of his pitches. Just a little tweak here and there. It makes such a big difference, whether you're pitching or hitting.
Caleb Smith, little chopper foul.
Some things that you even can't distinguish with the naked eye. It's a very fine line between good mechanics and bad.
The guy who pitched all around the world, literally, including in Italy, pitched an independent ball. He's 33 years old. A big year 2 years ago for the Brew Crew. 2-strike pitch to Caleb Smith. About Guerra's recent work, Brewers starters have been turning in very good work here of late. Bullpen has been lights out good. It's Smith the strikeout victim, and there are 2 away here in the 5th.
Well, let's check out the difference between last year and this year for Junior Guerra, and just watch after he releases it, and watch where he finishes on the left side last year. I mean, really falling off more toward first base, and when you do that, your arm drops a little bit, your mechanics are out of whack, and you really can't put the baseball where you want it.
Here's Derek Dietrich, and he sends one over to Aguilar, and the feed to Guerra. Another 1-2-3 inning as Guerra is rolling halfway through. It's 2-1 Brewers.
To view the full series schedule and reserve your seats, visit brewers.com/tickets. Boy, the Pirates got off to a great start this year.
Yeah, they did.
They have faltered a little bit as of late.
There's that upcoming schedule. 3-city trip coming up for the Brew Crew, and then a little interleague play as the Indians will come to town after the Pirates series. And right back on the road. The Pirates have lost 3 straight, so take a peek at the standings. It's really early, but Brewers are just a few percentage points behind the Cardinals.
Yeah. Next homestand, the Pirates and Indians. Indians coming in for interleague play.
0-1 to Hernan Perez. Yeah, it'll be fun. Obviously a very good team, and it brings back Wisconsin native Tom Hamilton, the longtime radio voice of the Indians from Waterloo, Wisconsin. Good guy.
Yeah, real good.
0-2 pitch to Perez. And another strikeout. 8 of them now for Caleb Smith. He struck out the side in the 3rd. Struck out 6 first time around the batting order.
He's only allowed the 2 base runners, and fortunately for the Brewers, they came back to back. One was a homer, but he's dialed in with a fastball. He's got good location on it, inside, outside.
Facing Eric Sogard now. Smith was moved from the Yankees to Miami. Garrett Cooper, the former Brewers draft pick, he was a 6th-round pick, also involved. There's a nice stop by Justin Bohr, and they got the job done. The feed to Caleb Smith. High degree of difficulty there for out number 2.
Yeah, that was a pretty good athletic play by the Marlins pitcher right there. Boy, Justin Bohr uncorked the fastball to him, up, almost threw it over his head, but Smith able to adjust. He got it to him early and able to grab the back of the bag. Not an easy play.
Just making sure he
got it,
touched the bag, and he did.
Sogard can't catch a break.
No, he can't. He did a little bit last night, the after the fact scoring change, which gave him credit for an RBI single, but man, he's hit the ball hard. Just missed a 3-run homer on Monday night against Cincinnati. It just hooked foul on him. Had another drive knocked down by the stiff wind in New York last weekend. And a shift on for young Jacob Nottingham. There's no ending to the analytics, even with somebody like a Jacob Nottingham, who has walked a couple of times, but this is plate appearance number 7 in the big leagues for him. Had a chance to play college baseball and college football. Was recruited by University of Arizona. They liked him as a linebacker as well as a catcher.
They haven't played the pull. I guess there's not a whole lot of info on him. I guess he just looks like a pull hitter, huh?
Big dude. Well, he was telling a story a few days ago. The football staff at Arizona, they wanted him to get up to about 250. He's around, I think, 2 1/4, right around there now. 250 seemed a little much for him, but for his first love of baseball here.
Yeah.
2-2 pitch. Is hit in the air, right center field. J.B. Shuck will call for it. Caleb Smith has another 1-2-3 inning. That's 4 of them now. We're through 5. It's 2-1 Milwaukee.
The tattoos are on point. You know, the quad width is it's pretty proportionate. Calves are small, so that's pretty accurate as well. This is awesome. I dig it. They did a great job on this.
What about the beard?
Beard's good. I mean, obviously now I'm trying to keep it tame until, you know, mid-season, then I'll let it eat, but they did a great job on it.
Let it eat.
It's always good when you can let your beard eat.
How about identifying the small calves? I mean,
attention to detail.
Yeah, the things that guys notice, right? My guess is that they don't really adjust, you know, the thighs and the calves from bobblehead to bobblehead. Do you think really they do that?
If they do, I'm really impressed.
Yeah. The other stuff, yeah, but okay. Let the beard eat.
Let the beard eat. Love it. JT Real Muto leading off the 6th inning for Miami. And he's going to dump one into right field, a base hit. And Real Muto has been a tough out. He's reached on a catcher's interference and an infield single, and now a single to right.
The second time he's led off with a base hit in this game.
Matter of fact, he's the only Marlin to get a base hit since the first inning off Guerra. That is a streak of 8 straight that Junior had retired. And here's Starlin Castro. A fly to right and a strikeout so far for the second baseman. Hit number 4 for Miami. Castro has driven in 7. Led the National League in hits. Oh, a Cub in 2011.
He's starting to be a little bit more patient at the plate through the years. On base percentage around .350. Never been a guy that's, you know, walked a ton. He likes to swing that bat.
2 balls, no strikes. Castro hit an even .300 for the Yankees. He was an All-Star last year, made the All-Star team 3 times while with the Cubs. Has a little pop. He homered 16 times while with New York. Drove in 63. Two-one pitch.
Another off-speed pitch. Right back into the count with a couple of splitters.
Marlins scored their run in the first inning. RBI double off the bat of Justin Bour, who is on deck. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Castro. And that's going to go into center field and a base hit. Real Muto to second. And the first 2 have reached against Guerra here in the 6th.
A couple of splitters, and then he tried to get the fastball by him, left it out over the plate.
And here's Justin Bour. Mentioned they had kept him fairly quiet in the series, but run scoring double today. Get into a double play in the 3rd inning. Bour with 12 RBIs. Single to right from Real Muto. He's at second. Castro's single to center, setting things up for Bour. 25 homer year for Bohr last year. He was a Rule 5 pick by the Marlins 5 years ago. Career high in homers and RBIs. He drove in 83.
Well, it's really going to be important for the Marlins to figure out to get somebody behind him in the batting order. Anderson's off to a good start. But if somebody doesn't find that spot right behind him in the batting order, they're just going to pitch around this guy. That was a pretty good lineup he was a part of last year.
It's a lineup that lacks a lot of proven productivity now with all the offseason moves. That bounces up there. Good block by Nottingham, and he is feeling it. He's shaking up.
Yeah, that got him.
He will need a moment.
Yeah.
If you're athletic trainer Dan Wright, there's nothing you can do about it.
No.
He just needs time. Enough said.
It goes away, but you think it's never gonna.
One and one is the count to Justin Bohr. Home plate umpire Bruce Dreckman asked him a couple times, "You all right? You good?" The real answer is not really, but let's go.
How do you think I'm doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How's your Sunday?
Yeah.
All right, back to it. Real Muto at second, Castro at first. Three years ago, Bohr homered 23 times. Originally a Cubs draft pick. 2-1 pitch on the way.
Well, you got to be careful on this pitch. You throw that fastball, you get it down and away. You figure Bohr is going to be looking for something middle in to yank out of here.
The threat going for Miami. 3-1. And that gets through Nottingham, and it's ball 4 anyway. So runners are everywhere for the Marlins. Bases are loaded. Nobody out in the 6th.
Yep, splitter on 3-1. Kind of confidence he has in it. Plus, he really didn't want to go fastball on a 3-1 count.
That gets Jeremy Jeffress going in the Milwaukee bullpen. Brewers bullpen. We've talked about the starters, and they've certainly ramped up their performance here in the last few days. The bullpen has been lights out good.
Yeah, last run the bullpen has allowed was in the 7th inning on Monday. Covers 17 2/3 innings.
And in that span, it allowed just 5 hits. So a little bases loaded mess right now, and Craig Counsell will make the slow walk to the mound. Jeff was just getting up a moment or so ago. And Counsell's going to go ahead and make the move. So singles from Real Muto and Castro. A walk to Justin Bohr. And the day ends 5+ for Junior Guerra as the Brewers turn it to the bullpen with Milwaukee leading Miami 2-1. Here in the 6th inning, bases loaded with nobody outs. And Junior Guerra's line at the moment, the 1 run was unearned in the 1st inning, but he's responsible for the runners, which are everywhere from Miami's. 4 strikeouts for Guerra in 5+ innings as he now makes way for Jeremy Jeffress.
Yeah, Jeremy picked up a win in last night's game, his 2nd of the season, a 3-up, 3-down 9th inning. That included a strikeout. He could use a ground ball, get a double play here. Nobody out, bases loaded for the Fish. 13th appearance for Jeffress. Outstanding work.
Here we go. Jeffress against Brian Anderson, who has singled to left and struck out. Brewers will trade the run for an out for the outs if they can get a double play here from Brian Anderson. Keep in mind, he's good at working walks. Muto is at 3rd, Castro at 2nd, Justin Bohr the runner at 1st. The 1-0. It's been one of those things that Craig Counsell keeps reminding everybody with the offense gets the highlights, but the work of the bullpen once again, and that's been the case in these comeback wins. The bullpen has held things in check and has allowed the bats to be able to get the rally going.
Yeah, you got to keep the opposition off the board when you're down, and they've been able to do that.
1-1 pitch to Anderson.
A couple of fastballs. He's ahead in the count. This is normally split change time for Jeremy. Yeah, get your strikeout or have him beat one into the ground.
Strikeout double play. Yeah, perfect scenario here if Jeffress and the Brew Crew could pull this off. Here comes the 1-2. And there's the strikeout. Out number 1 here in inning number 6.
Yep, and it was a split change. Oh, that was close. Chad Fairchild, the first base umpire, ringing it up. And the split change, he thought he held up, but let's check it out.
Yeah, very close.
Brewers got a break.
And they'll take it. Here's J.B. Shuck.
Now your ground ball.
Curve misses to Shuck.
That's exactly why Craig Counsell called on Jeffress here. Knew that Junior was kind of losing a little bit, and you have more of a strikeout guy out on the mound. That's exactly what they needed.
One-0 to Shuck. Popped him up. Foul territory. Shaw for out number 2. Junior Guerra looking on as Jeremy Jeffress trying to work out of this jam.
Supposed to be away. He left it on the inside corner, and Shuck jammed himself. Look at Nottingham. You think he wants that ball? Shaw's saying, get out of here. I got it. Get back to home plate. You know, those catcher's mitts really aren't designed to catch pop-ups.
Right.
Much easier for the third baseman.
Yep. Especially when you have to cover a lot of ground like Nottingham was doing there.
Right, yeah.
Here's Lewis Brinson. He was hit by a pitch in the second inning. He's left stranded at third. Since the first inning, that was the biggest threat Miami had until now.
A lot of holes in that swing, but don't make a mistake. We've seen what he can do.
A couple of bombs off Chase Anderson. Went deep against Brent Suter last night. Good block again by Nottingham, keeping Real Muto at third.
Yeah, squaring that shoulder up, that right shoulder, throwing it around to make sure it stays right in front of him. And not bounce off toward the Brewers dugout. Wants the right shoulder coming around. Well done.
Ball a strike to Lewis Brinson, who has struck out a team high 26 times this year for Miami. 1-2 the count. He inherited a bases loaded mess. We got a strikeout of Anderson, a foul pop from Shuck. And a strike away from getting out of the inning. The 1-2.
And Nottingham wanted it up out of the strike zone, and Jeremy gave him one to hit.
This crowd's been stirring it up this weekend, and with reason. The 1-2 again. It's been close to all or nothing for Lewis Brinson in this series. Jeffress ready with the 2-2. He struck him out. Oh my goodness, what work by Jeremy Jeffress. He comes in for Junior Guerra with the bases loaded and nobody out. He strikes out Anderson, a foul pop from Shuck, and a strikeout of Brinson. 2-1 Brewers. happens as Jeremy Jeffress comes out of the bullpen and works his team out of a big jam. Our Badger Mutual Insurance play of the game as a curveball gets Brinson.
First one of the inning. Look at the reaction for Jeremy. Is he fired up or what? And Junior Guerra saying, thank you very much, saving me some earned runs today. These guys have been something else, haven't they? Those guys in the pen.
Look at the conversation we were having with General Manager David Stearns on Friday night as Domingo Santana leads things off. So they refer to Jeffress as the closer for the starters, right?
Mopping up the mess that sometimes the starters leave them, right?
Bases loaded, nobody out, and Jeffress turned them back.
He's got that strikeout ability with that split change. He got him with the curveball, the only one he threw in that entire inning.
0-2 to Domingo Santana. Pinch hitting here as it's 9-1-2 in the order for Milwaukee. As will happen to anyone in the course of a season, Santana has been scuffling here the last several games. Certainly showed everybody what he's capable of doing with the big year last year, but mired in an 0 for 16 right now. Ball 2 strikes. Caleb Smith has been striking him out throughout the course of this game. 9 of them now for the left-hander.
They made one mistake. That was to Yelich. You really can't consider the base hit by Kane a mistake. It was a fastball off the plate. He dumped down the line and right. The fastball right down the middle to Yelich was really the only mistake he's made.
At the plate, presented by Wendy's, a fly to center and the single to right for Kane. He's now hit safely in 10 of his last 11 games. I was talking to Darnell Coles yesterday about Kane. You know, he's hit mostly third in his career, but Darnell talking about just the smarts of a guy like Kane at the top of the order, the ability to work walks, which Kane has done. He's drawn 12 of them. He's a guy who gets on any way he can.
And doesn't swing out of the zone very often. He makes you work. Takes his walks. You're right. On base percentage paramount for a leadoff hitter, and Kane's been good.
On the edge of 400 is on base percentage at the moment. Fourth inning, the only inning where the Brewers got any offense against Smith, the only 2 hits. Otherwise, he has been, as counsel would say, quite the outgetter here today. Smith had a couple of starts for the Yankees last year. He appeared in 9 games. Most of his year was at the AA and AAA level. 2-2 pitch. And then you're seeing his ability to work the counts. Full count now to Lorenzo Cain.
And laying off close pitches in with 2 strikes.
Smith ready with a payoff. In the air, right field. Long run for J.B. Shuck. And pulls it in by the wall.
Nice catch.
Wow.
Not a lot of room in foul territory down there as you get down to the corner and right, or left for that matter. Yeah, nice catch.
Out number 2. Second start in right in this series for Shuck. Here's Christian Yelich. He has the big hit so far today. 2-run homer in the 4th. run, his second of the year. First one coming against the Cardinals. 2 outs in the 9th inning a couple of weeks ago. That tied the game and allowed Ryan Braun to step to the plate and win it. Smith, impressive, 26 years old, Huntsville, Texas. By far his best start of this young season. 2-1 pitch.
And he finds himself behind. He's allowed 2 base runners. That's it. 9 punch outs, no walks. But, you know, the Brewers have the lead.
The ability of this ball club. You can keep them quiet for extended stretches, but just aren't many hitters if you're a pitcher that can't hurt you right now. These guys are powerful up and down the lineup, but Smith has been awfully good here this afternoon for Miami as he just records his 10th strikeout. Still 2-1 in Milwaukee. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lights. Great taste and only 96 calories. And by Toyota. Let's go places. And what a moment by Jeremy Jeffress an inning ago. 2-1 Brewers lead the Marlins. We move to the 7th inning here at Miller Park. A reminder, stay tuned after Brewers Live postgame today for a special playoff edition of Bucks Live postgame. We'll be live at the BMO Harris Bradley Center for all the reaction to Game 4 between the Celtics and the Bucks. Craig Kashaw, Telly Hughes, and Steve Novak will tell you all about a thrilling Bucks win today, 104-102, to even that series with the Celtics 2 games apiece.
Tip in by Giannis right at the end.
There you go. Got it done.
Yeah.
Thriller. Game on that series. There's Matt Albers on the mound now for the Brew Crew facing Yadiel Rivera.
Well, Craig Counsell used his bullpen for only 1 inning each yesterday, allowing him to use just about everybody down there, including Josh Hader. Albers threw in last night's game, tossed a scoreless 8th inning.
8-9-1 in the Miami order. Rivera today has grounded to short, has flied to right field. It's a ball, 2 strikes to the Marlins shortstop.
Caleb Smith is on the on-deck circle. Maybe if Rivera reaches, he might go up there to bunt. We'll see.
He has pitched very well here this afternoon. 1-2 pitch to Rivera. Good start for Albers. One away here in the 7th.
Hey, today's Tavern of the Game winner. It's Fred's Tavern in Reedsburg. If they call the Brewers by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. It's up around Baraboo, you know.
Yes, it
Reedsburg,
is. Yes, it is.
Sauk County.
Been there a time or two.
It's good to have our walking, talking Atlas in the booth again. No slip-ups on the Tavern of the Game.
Was it his fault the other day?
Yeah, he wasn't here.
Talking, of course, about the great Mike Faulkner. Not to mention any names, but here's Tomas Tellez. He will pinch hit for Caleb Smith. Good day's work for Smith, but at the moment he is in line to get a losing decision. Long way to go, though. 2-1 Brewers, top of the 7th. Tellez, one of 3 catchers in the Marlins roster.
A switch hitter. The other 3 players on the bench for Miami are all right-handed hitters.
And their bullpen, nothing but right-handers. Albers with a 1-1. Popped him up. Nottingham off with the mask for out number 2. Jacob getting the call today for Jet Bandy.
Yeah. Well, he's been calling good games, hasn't he? A shutout his first start, and he's allowed only 1 run.
He got his first taste of the big leagues on Monday night. The game against the Reds, he was catching Jorge Lopez, and there was a familiarity there from AAA. Lopez worked 3 good innings, helped kind of save the bullpen that night in what was a rough night for Milwaukee. Lopez back in AAA now. Derek Dietrich at the plate. Dietrich has struck out and has twice grounded to Aguilar at first. Homered in last night's game to Dietrich. The 1-1. Veteran Matt Albers. Big bounce back year with the Nationals last season. 1-2. He struck him out. The Brewers bullpen continues in shutdown mode. Jeffries in the 6th. Albers in the 7th. Stretch time at Miller Park. 2-1 Milwaukee. We will keep it here on this Sunday afternoon as we honor America. The singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
lead thanks to Christian Yelich 2-run home run. And we all recognize the heroes on the field, but this season the Brewers and Meyer want to honor the heroes that make a difference in our community. Each month, one outstanding local individual will be recognized on the field and have the opportunity to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. If you'd like to nominate someone you know or to learn more, you can visit brewers.com/community.
All right, Sophia, thank you very much. Bottom of the 7th. New pitcher on now for the Miami Marlins. Boy, Caleb Smith was awfully good, but
Yeah.
he has to step aside for Nick Whitgren.
Yep, that just goes to show, you know, one mistake in this game at this level and it could cost you a game. Good pitching today.
Ryan Braun leads things off, and there goes the bat. Didn't break it. Just lost the handle.
Little hammer throw action. Hey, we saw Whitgren in last night's game. Scoreless inning. Give up a hit, struck out a batter.
Look out.
That's a pretty good bat speed. Watch where it ends up.
It's the exit velocity on that. 0-1 the count against the 26-year-old Nick Whitgren, the former Purdue Boilermaker. A single from Kane, a home run from Yelich. 2 runs and 2 hits for Milwaukee. That came in inning number 4. 1-1. Good pitching matchup here today. 10 strikeouts for Smith in 6 innings. And continued good work by Junior Guerra. On a swing and a miss. Out number 1. Travis Shaw to the plate. Let's check out the Powerball home run leaderboard. Eric Thames with 7. Couple here in the homestand. Ryan Braun with 5. Travis Shaw went deep last night. He has 4. It's your Powerball home run leaderboard. Travis is going to need a new bat. Struck out a couple of times here today. Once swinging, once looking.
Hadn't been a whole lot going on for the Brewers. I mean, it's been all 3 up, 3 down, except for that 4th inning. Back-to-back hits, and that's been it.
And Caleb Smith came in with an ERA of 6.89. Wouldn't have known that here this afternoon. But oh, by the way, Junior Guerra, who got picked up in a big way by Jeremy Jeffress. His work in the 6th inning. But Guerra now through 3 starts. He's worked 16 innings and has given up all of 1 earned run. The run today was unearned. Two 1 pitch. Big crowd here and a happy young man. He had the glove just in case.
Yeah. That baseball puts a lot of smiles on faces, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Full count now to Shaw. Talked about his ability to draw walks. 12 of them so far. Three-2 from Whitgren. And there's a walk. 1 out, 1 on.
Hey, put your baseball expertise to the test by downloading Beat the Streak free for your smartphone or tablet. Pick a player to get a hit every day. And if you can build a streak of 57 games, you'll take home $5.6 million. That's pretty good.
That is good.
Of course, that streak not easy. Picking a different guy, 57 straight.
You deserve 5.6.
Yeah.
Get that, right? Here's Jesus Aguilar.
By the way, speaking of foul balls, have you decided if you're going to bring your Johnny Bench foul ball to Cincinnati?
You know, I guess I'm going to have to make that call.
You got one when you were young, right? And
May have
Johnny Bench.
Yeah, I have to pack that.
You'd like him to sign it?
I would like to.
I think you should.
It's not a fanboy thing to do.
No. That's Johnny Bench.
It's a foul ball off the bat of Bench at Riverfront Stadium. Probably like 73, 74, something like that.
You got to bring it. He'll sign it if you see him.
Might as well. Now,
Telling the story.
What are the odds of him being there? He's a busy
good.
guy.
Pretty
you
good.
think so?
Yeah.
All right.
I see him around there quite a bit.
I'm trying to think of my trips with the Brewers down there. I can't remember, but that means I'm due, right? Means he'll be there.
We're going to have to put some people on it.
Well, we will. We'll get on that. If you're a baseball fan of a certain age and grew up about an hour north of there, so followed his career closely. Aguilar, there's a base hit. What else is new?
Yeah. That's just an amazing approach on a 1-2 pitch. That guy's just a good hitter. He's got a good approach. He's got a good idea. Shortening up with 2 strikes on the breaking ball, and that's just good piece of hitting. That's just good fundamental. Taking what the pitcher gives you and serving that one, beating the shift into right field.
Let's see if the Brewers can stretch this lead right now. After Braun struck out to begin the inning, Shaw walked. Aguilar singles to right. And here's Hernan Perez. He sends it to right field. And this will twist out of play. Couple of homers. Perez has driven in 4. The homers coming on the last road trip. One-strike pitch. Richard Whitburn was just called up a couple of days ago from AAA New Orleans, but pretty busy out of the Marlins bullpen the last couple of years. 38 appearances last year, 48 the year before. Good out of the pen in 2016. Pitched to a .314 earned run average. 2 strikes or nothing to Perez. That's the second strikeout for Nick Whitgren. And the 12th for Marlins pitching. Here's Sogard.
At some point you figure he's going to break out of it and start bunching some hits together, and that would be a really good time to start.
There's Shaw at second and Aguilar at first. Tuning in late, a scoring decision was changed in Sogard's favor last night. That fly ball he hit that was misplayed by the left fielder Derek Dietrich, originally ruled an error, and since ruled a hit and an RBI. He has driven in 2 so far. runs scored, but they were able to get Thames at the plate. And a good throw from Yadier Rivera. 1-0 the count to Eric Sogard.
Figure fastball he's getting right here. 2-0. Man at second. Serve one out there into the gap in left center.
Sounds like a plan. The 2-0. But Jacob Nottingham on deck. Once again, very solid behind the plate.
If he gets on, you wonder Craig Counsell might go to the bench.
And the bases are loaded.
Yeah, you got Thames on the bench today. No left-handers in the Marlins bullpen, making Counsell's decision much easier.
And on Eric Thames' bobblehead day, big man gets a shot with the bases loaded. Only Bryce Harper has more home runs than Thames. Harper 8, Thames 7. April is good to him once again this year. 18 bombs in the month of April last year and this year. Loaded for him now in the 7th. And a bouncing ball. Board boots it. Everybody's safe. And it's a 2-run lead for Milwaukee.
Well, Marlins just handing runs to the Brewers on a silver platter last night with Dietrich not able to handle that fly ball. And now about as routine a grounder as you'll see to first base, and literally he kicks it. First pitch from Thames. And the Brewers get a run. There's a gift. 2 walks, a hit. And Bohr kicks this one literally to score a run for Milwaukee.
Big run there for the Brewers. So Jed Bandy will step to the plate. Thames doing a little extra stretching out there. He was feeling it running up that first baseline. Good chance for Bandy here to try to break it open, and a grounder gobbled up by Anderson, and the throw over to second for the force. And that'll do it for Milwaukee, but a Marlins error gives the Brewers a 2-run lead. 3-1 as we move to the 8th. Fox join Troy Aikman and Joel Klatt in Dallas for all of the big selections. April 26th and 27th. Live on Fox and NFL Network. Who's going where? In the NFL draft. A couple changes here for the Brewers. Jet Bandy now behind the plate for Milwaukee. And on the mound, Josh Hader.
Yeah, 26 strikeouts in 12 2/3 innings. That's nearly 19 per 9 innings. That leads all major league relievers. Ninth appearance today. 2 for 2 for save opportunities. And we saw Josh last night for a scoreless inning.
Yeah, the only trend breaker there was that 2 Marlins put the ball in play. Here with 1 strikeout instead of his usual 3+. JT Real Muto leading off.
Yep, heart of the order coming up from Miami.
Castro follows Real Muto, and then Justin Bour, who was driven in the 1 run for Miami. Junior Guerra went the first 5. Jeremy Jeffress inherited a bases loaded mess and pitched out of it. Matt Albers a 1-2-3 7th. 2-0 pitch to Real Muto. Good slider from Hader.
Yep. 2-0. He drops the slider on him. Getting a lot of confidence in that pitch.
To go back to late in Monday's game against Cincinnati, the last time the Brewers bullpen was charged with a run. Two and two the count to the Miami catcher. Real Muto singled to right. He also has an infield single. Reached on catcher's interference. He scored the lone run. Miami in the 6th inning. The first 3 reached, 2 hits and a walk. That ended Junior Guerra's day, and then Jeremy Jeffress came in and was electric again. A walk to Real Muto begins the 8th inning for Miami.
Yeah, rare walk. You don't see many walks out of Hader. Fell behind 2-0, got back into the count. And just missed the inside corner with that 3-2 pitch.
Now Starlin Castro. Single bumps his average above 300. Marlins with just 5 hits this afternoon. They've stranded 6. Castro has flied to right. He has struck out before that 6th inning single. Ball a strike to the second baseman. Good numbers Castro has against Milwaukee, but much of that damage was done in games at Wrigley Field as a Cub. Has not hit as well here at Miller Park. Here comes the 1-1. Check swing on a slider.
That ball got away from Bandy. That'll be a pass ball, I think, allowing Real Muto to get to second base.
A ball, 2 strikes. It is a pass ball. thought at first that Castro fouled it off. That was not the case. Here's the 1-2. That's strike 3 call.
That's more like it right there, finding the inside corner. Tried to get Real Muto on a fastball in, missed with it. Ended up walking him and dots the eye right there. You can see Bandy sticking the landing, holding it nicely.
Well, Rock, you mentioned it, the strikeouts per 9. Tyron Guerrero, the Marlins, pretty good too, but no one's better than Hader. Get another punch out for the left-hander, and now he faces Justin Bour.
We'll see how Josh is able to handle the first time he's going back-to-back days this year.
One, 2, 3, 7th last night. 1-0 pitch to Bour. Good diet of sliders here from Hader.
It's a good pitch to that lefty.
The 1-1. Bour is driven in 12. RBI double in the second inning. He's also grounded into a double play and walked. Pitchers duel today at Miller Park. Teams have combined for just 8 hits. That is hit well. There's hit number 9 combined today into right field, a base hit. Here comes the throw from Yelich. It's cut off as Real Muto is in, and the Marlins pull within 1.
Hey, hung a slider right there. Yeah, Josh Hader has a little bit more confidence in the slider here today than he does with the fastball. He left it up for Bour. Watch where it ends up. Yep, up and out over the plate, and Justin Bour able to hit it hard into right field. So the tying run at first base.
A 3-2 ball game with Bour driving in both runs for Miami. Here's Brian Anderson. Well, the Thursday-Friday games were blowouts, which have been the exception to the rule. The Brewers have been all about 1- and 2-run games here this season, including the 1-run thriller last night with the Jesus Aguilar walk-off. So this is nothing new.
No, this is pretty much routine for Milwaukee. Craig Counsell. Tight games where every pitch, every decision is got added importance.
Ball 2 strikes now to the third baseman Brian Anderson. Brewers are 6-2 in 1-run games. Here's the 1-2. Good on base percentage for Anderson, .389. Hader trying to put him away. 1-2 pitch. In the air. Shallow center field. That's Lorenzo Cain.
Go to first.
And the runner thought there were 2 outs. Justin Bour jogging around second, and there is a room service double play.
Right.
There was just 1 out. Bour thought there were 2. Now there are 3. And another mistake made by Don Mattingly's team. Brewers will take it, and they have a 1-run lead at the bottom of the 8th.
Augustine here on the Fox Sports Wisconsin's desk. And Jerry, Craig Counsell calling Jeremy Jeffress his starter's closer. And look, he showed in the 6th inning why he's earned that nickname. Bases loaded, no outs, no runs.
I'll tell you, when you talk about Jeremy Jeffress, it's all about being able to make good pitches in situations. He's come up with that split finger fastball that he's used in clutch situations. It's been a big pitch. He is the closer for the Stars.
Yeah.
He comes in at some big times and gets some big outs.
He's come in this season and has inherited 10 runners. Only one has scored all year. Now, coming up on Brewers Live, Yelich going fishing against his former team. Stellar outing, as we showed you, by JJ. And, of course, we're here from manager Craig Counsell. But for now, let's send it back up to Rock and Matt for the remainder of the game.
All right, Dario, Augie, thank you very much. Brewers with a 1-run lead as Lorenzo Cain leads off the bottom of the 8th inning. Cain with a 4th inning single, and he scored on the Yelich 2-run homer. That's 2 of the 3 hits that the Brewers have here today. Another run scoring on an error in the 7th inning. New pitcher Merandy Gonzalez now with big league appearance number 2.
Yeah, he looked good on Thursday here against the Brewers. 2 scoreless innings.
What was his major league debut appearance? He was recalled from their Double-A affiliate Jacksonville on Thursday.
Yeah, this guy was 13-3 down in the minor leagues last year. 166 earned run average. That's some eye-popping numbers.
He had 22 appearances, but all but two were starts, although he did have a save. 2-2 pitch. Full count to Lorenzo Cain. Cain, Yelich, and Braun here in the 8th inning. And a breaking ball missed. Cain is on. Now Christian Yelich. That home run got out of here in a hurry. Belted it to center field. Cain is running. And the throw is sailed into center field. But Cain had to dive into second. He'll play this safe. He has the bag, and the Brewers have a runner in scoring position.
And Realmuto has been a little off target in this series. There's a big stolen base for Lorenzo Cain to avoid that double play possibility and give the Brewers 3 cracks at driving him in.
Trying to get that insurance run back. Brewers scoring in the bottom of the 7th, but the Marlins put one up in the 8th. It was 5 out of 6 for Cain in the stolen base department. Yelich with some pretty good numbers, very good numbers. Runners in scoring position, 5 for 12. Gonzalez now ahead of the count, 2 strikes and nothing. Yelich trying to hurt his former team once again. Gonzalez coming over from the Mets organization, part of the A.J. Ramos trade. 0-2. Got him. Curveball gets Yelich.
Yeah, good pitch. He got it down in the strike zone. Well, it's a Cinco de Mayo celebration at Miller Park on Saturday, May 5th. The Brewers host the Pirates. And fans who purchase a special Cinco de Mayo ticket package will take home a limited edition chorizo racing sausage bobble. Learn more at brewers.com/theme nights.
Look forward to that, the next homestand.
Yeah.
There's Ryan Braun. Hitless day for Braun so far. Ground ball, a liner to Yadiel Rivera, and then a strikeout in the 7th inning. One-0 pitch. Gonzalez, some impressive stuff out on the mound. Braun hitting some big numbers on this homestand, getting into the 1,000 RBI club. 700 plus extra base hits now for Braun. The ball is striking against Merandy Gonzalez. Curveball.
It's a good pitch for him.
It really is.
Showed a good curveball on Thursday. Fastball pretty good, with some good movement. Curveball to go with it. That's why he had such good numbers down in the minor leagues. You command that curveball down in the minors, you're gonna have good success.
Marlins pushing through a lot of young talent. Some by choice with offseason moves, some by necessity with injuries. Braun a strikeout victim. That is 14 strikeouts now for Marlins pitching this afternoon. Two away for Travis Shaw. And he will be walked intentionally. So we want to go righty versus righty. A little pick your poison going on, because Jesus Aguilar is coming to the plate.
You don't mind a guy like Aguilar up at a time like this. He punched one to right his last time up.
Two runners are on for him here. Kane worked a walk. Shaw intentionally walked. Well, his at bat last night had everybody talking long into the evening and this morning. 13 pitch at bat against Junichi Tazawa. And pitch number 13. Aguilar went deep. Here's the 1-0.
And took one out into the Toyota territory in right center. Fastball away. Fought off some nasty pitches and got one he liked.
See if he gets another one. 2 balls, no strikes. Curve away.
Almost as if they're thinking, you know what, I'd rather face Perez in this situation. 2-0 curveball, not even close. You know he's swinging here if he likes it.
Here's the 3-0. He likes it. Into left field. base hit in front of Dietrich, who laid back on it, and Kane will score. It's a 4-2 lead for the Brewers.
Well, I think he could have caught that. I mean, that's one you got to try and catch. Well, Dietrich laid back to play it on the hop, and if he came in maybe 1 or 2 steps, he catches this. 92 away. Aguilar with yet another big RBI to give the Brewers their 2-run lead again. Check it out. He's playing deep. He starts to go in, goes back, and if he keeps coming, he catches that ball.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's one you actually have to lay out for. I mean, you got to take a chance and try and catch that.
The Marlins have made some mistakes, to be sure, here today. That's not an error, but that's one that's a misplay as Perez takes a strike.
Questionable judgment. I mean, there are certain times you just got to go for it, and that was one of them.
And that kind of first month of the season for Don Mattingly's team. So the Brewers have a 2-run lead again. Still 2 runners on. Think back to the last inning. Justin Bour booting a routine ground ball off the bat of Eric Thames. That was with the bases loaded, a run scored, and then Bour, the top half of this inning, lost track of the outs, ran into a double play.
Making mistakes. I mean, mental errors, physical errors. That's why right now they've had such a tough start.
Ball the strike to Hernan Perez. Another multi-hit game, though, for Jesus Aguilar. 6 starts at first. He has 3 3-hit games and now a 2-hit afternoon. The 1-1. Curve hit in the air. Left center field and room for Brinson. And he'll make the catch, and that'll do it for the Brewers, but they pick up a big run. We move to the 9th. It's 4-2. Brewers leading the Marlins. Two Brewers lead the Marlins as we move to the top of the 9th inning. Josh Hader stays in there. He worked the 8th inning and it will at least start the 9th.
Well, he came out to start the inning because the left-hander Shuck was due up, but Don Mattingly going to bench.
He's got pinch hitter Miguel Rojas up there right now. Been a tough series at the plate for Rojas. Hader gave up a run in the top half of this inning. Marlins helped them. Running out of the inning when Bohr lost track of the outs. Here's Jacob Barnes. Get him ready here as well. Oh, 0-2 pitch.
That's fastball.
Brewers trying to sweep this 4-game series. Four innings in this game. The Marlins have gotten their leadoff man aboard. Big threat was the 6th inning. They had him loaded with nobody outs. Jeremy Jeffress came in, got a couple of strikeouts and a foul pop to get out of the inning. Hader with a 2-2. That is strike 3 called. A slider takes care of Rojas. He is not a happy camper right now. He is letting Bruce Dreckman know it. 1 away.
Yeah, but that slider getting a lot of confidence in that pitch. There it is. I guess maybe he thought it was away, maybe he thought it was low, but it doesn't matter what he thinks.
More bullpen work being turned in for Craig Counsell's Milwaukee Brewers. Here's Lewis Brinson. The Brewers can finish the job here in the 9th inning. It would be their first 4-game sweep at home since August of 2008 against the Nationals. It would be their first 4-game sweep period since 2015 against the Phillies in Philadelphia. Matt Stein from Media Relations, the intern, digging up that knowledge.
All over
short
it.
notice for us.
All over it. He was all over it quickly.
The man. Brinson was at the plate with the bases loaded in the 6th inning. Jeffress struck him out. Hader ahead of the count right now, 1-2. And another strikeout for Hader. And the Brewers are 1 out away from closing out this homestand with 6 straight. Let's check out Miller Lite's What's on Tap. Brewers back at it on Tuesday night in Kansas City. Zach Davies and Ian Kennedy, your pitching matchup. Then on Wednesday, Chase Anderson and Jason Hamill on the mound for the Brewers and the Royals. 6:30 is when our coverage starts here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Marlins down to their final out. Cameron Maben pinch hitting. Hader back-to-back strikeouts. Brewers bullpen trying to turn in 4 more frames of giving up nothing. Came in 17 2/3 scoreless innings. Hader with the 1-1. That's strike 2 call, bringing it at 95. First homestand was a little tough for the Brew crew. This one, a 180. The 1-2. Said at the beginning of the stand, you never take anything for granted, but this is the type of homestand where you want to take advantage. Reds and Marlins both scuffling. Brewers are doing that, trying to make it 6 out of 7. The 1-2.
Yep, offense has come to life. Starting pitching starting to get deep into games. Bullpen lights out. And the defense has been good.
Yeah, just one error, and today it was catcher's interference, but the first 3 games of this series were clean for the Brewers defensively. Two-two pitch from Hader. In the air, right field, long run, Yelich, and the Brewers sweep it. The bullpen continues to turn in spectacular work. Josh Hader, the work in the final 6 outs once again as the Brewers push their winning streak to 6 games.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff. I mean, even when the offense doesn't get going, now that bullpen, I mean, it's incredible what these guys have been able to do. I mean, keeping the opposition off the board, and they have been worked a lot. They're going to enjoy tomorrow's off day.
Yes, sir. A 6-1 homestand for the Milwaukee Brewers as they knock off the Miami Marlins this afternoon 4-2. Let's send it down to Dario Melendez. He is standing by and ready to roll with Brewers Live.
Thanks so much, Matt. Well, look, the Brewers wrapped up this homestand in great fashion. 6 straight wins. Coming up on Brewers Live, we'll take a look at Jeffers' solid outing, and we'll hear from manager Craig Counsell and get you set for the impending road trip.